start with the Sufi movement. The longevity of the Sufi traditions in India can be understood by the fact that people still frequently visit the dargahs looking for cure from ailments or personal problems. The Sufi lyrics are all the way in today's popular Hindi music, and dervishes and fakirs still form part of our ideals of charity and a life of selflessness. अब origin पर आते हैं, right? In a very amateur term, Sufism is a kind of mystical philosophy. This is a mystical philosophy which aims to achieve ethical and mystical philosophy. The word finds its root in Arabic word for wool, indicative of the garments of rough wool worn by the ascetics and even the prophets. The literature of Sufism produced from the 10th century helps us to understand the socio-culture scenario of medieval India. The social context of Sufism is expressed in the Sufi orders. Many institutions formed around the Saint tomb, like a Kanha, and the Dargah. In India, one of the first Sufi shrines belonged to Sheikh Farid al-Din Ganje Shakkar, जिसे बाबा फरीद नाम से भी जाना जाता है. तो one of the first Sufi shrines in India belonged to Sheikh Farid al-Din Ganj Shakkar, 1265 AD, known popularly as Baba Farid. His shrine lies in Ajudan, Pakpatan town. As Baba Farid wrote in Punjabi, he was a prime candidate to consider for indigenization. Indigenous basically यहाँ से इंडिया से तो and spread of Sufism in Punjab. Indigenization and spread of Sufism in Punjab. अब इसके characteristics देख लेते हैं. The Sufi sons are fakirs, that is a poor man, or dervishes, that is standing by the door for alms. According to some historians, there are 3 stages in the history of Sufism. First stage है Kanha. Period is 10th century, also called the age of golden mysticism. Second stage देख लेते हैं. It is a Tariqa, 11th to 14th century, when Sufism was being institutionalized and traditions and symbols started being attached to it. Third है Tarifa, 15th century onwards, the stage when Sufism became a popular movement. These 3 stages occurred simultaneously happened till the saint's successors also became associated with his Barqat and Karamat. Right? The lands which were the abode of war after coming under the Sufi spiritual authority and the king's political authority became the land of peace, Dar al-Aslam. अब इसकी basic जो tenets है Sufism का included the concept of purity. Sufism became the process of purification of hearts, the Sifiyat al-Gulab, which means a righteous ethical discipline based on meditative exercises. The basic point in the Sufi philosophy is the primacy of the inner reality and believing that God was the first, the last, and the outer and the inner. Most Sufis use the vocabulary of love and intimate affection while describing their experience with God. It was a badge of honor for the Sufi to be known as the lover of God or of their Sufi masters. They were even called Ahl e Dil or master of the heart. The Sufi Kanha was not without its hierarchies. while the Sufi saint had obtained Vilayah or the Islamic doctrine of sainthood, which made him close to God and was protected by the grace of God. There are many terms for the teachers and guide like Peer or Sheikh, whose main task was to transmit the teachings to the student, that is the Murid. Chief disciples are chosen to act as the successor, Khalifa, or representative, Muqaddam, of the master. There was an unspoken and invisible spiritual and territorial authority of the Saint. Those who were from all ordinary classes and caste occupied the outer level but were not Murids. अब ऑब्जेक्टिव्स पर आते हैं. There are two different philosophies in Sufi mystical thought. One is the concept of Wahadat al-Wujud. Wahadat al-Wujud, or the oneness of existence. Oneness of existence, which was coined by Ibn Arabi. The philosophy emphasizes that there is no true existence except the ultimate truth, God, and that the only truth within the universe is God, and that all things exist within God only. The other is a concept of Wahadat ul Shujad, or the unity of appearance. वो था oneness of existence, ये है unity of appearance. This school was formulated by Allah al-Dawla Simani, was to attract many followers in India, including Ahmad Sirhindi, who provided some of the most widely accepted formulation of this doctrine in the Indian subcontinent. He held that God and creation are not identical. Rather, the latter is a shadow or a reflection of the divine's names and attributes when they are reflected in the mirrors of the opposite non-beings. A different Sufi orders in India, वो देख लेते हैं. Different Sufi orders in India. There were many Sufi orders that existed in medieval India, as they were extremely popular with the masses. Some of the major Sufi shrines were Chishti Silsila. कौन सा है? Chishti Silsila. The major Sufi order in medieval times was the Chishti Silsila, whose geographical spread was from Rajasthan to Deccan. Khwaja Muinuddin Chishti, in a place called Khwaja Chishti in Herat, in 1192 AD established it. किसने establish किया? ख्वाजा मुइनुद्दीन चिश्ती. और इसका मेन सेंटर कहाँ पर है? इसका मेन सेंटर was around अजमेर. And they worked amongst the poorest section of the society. आपको क्या याद रखना है? चिश्ती सिलसिला किसने स्टार्ट किया? ख्वाजा मुइनुद्दीन चिश्ती ने. इसका मेन सेंटर अजमेर के पास है. They had many famous Sufis in their altar like Sheikh Nizamuddin Auliya, Sheikh Hamid Uddin of Nagaur, and many other exceptionals there. They wanted to usually stay away from state powers, but were linked interestingly when the expansion to far-flung areas and resettlement happened, as they got a lot of land in Bengal and Multan for the dargahs and khanqahs. The politics was so deeply involved with the religion that Sultan Iltutmish dedicated his architectural marvel Qutb Minar to his saint Khwaja Qutbuddin Bakhtiar Kaki. The next historical figure through whose life was discovered the charting out of the fate of the Sufis in Deccan was Sayyid Muhammad Hussaini Gizu Daraz. Other important Chishti saints include Sheikh Nasiruddin Muhammad, who was popularly known as Nasiruddin Chiragi Dilli or the Lamp of Delhi. ठीक है, Nasiruddin Chiragi Dilli or the Lamp of Delhi. In the 15th century, the hold of this silsila on Delhi started डिक्रीजिंग एंड दे मूव टू ईस्टर्न एंड सदर्न इंडिया। अब अगला सिलसिला ये है चिश्ती सिलसिला, हमने पढ़ चुके हैं। ये ख्वाजा मुइनुद्दीन चिश्ती द्वारा था अजमेर में। अब आगे आता है सुरहावर्दी सिलसिला। Surhawardi Silsila. The founder of this silsila was Sheikh Shihabuddin Surhawardi. Sheikh Shihabuddin Sohrawardi. But the responsibility and privilege to get it to India was upon the shoulders of Sheikh Bahauddin Zakaria. His first Khanqa was opened in Multan. They gave good relations with the kings and were affiliated to. For example, Sultan Iltutmish named Sheikh Zakaria the Sheikhul Islam, or the leader of Islam, in return for his support in the political skirmishes. Other notable Surhawardi saints are Sayyid Nuruddin Mubarak, etc. Other regional silsilas. The Firdoshia order was more famous in Bihar and Bengal than other areas. The Qadariya Silsila founder was Sheikh Niamatullah Qadri. His area of influence was Gujarat and MP. Fine. But the Qadri sect got its moment of glory when the Prince Dara Shikoh became a student of Myanmar at Lahore. After that, Dara's patronage was given to another Qadri saint called Mullah Shah Badakhshani. और अगला देखते हैं Kubrawiya order was found in Kashmir by Sayyid Ali Hamadani, and its fame was confined to those areas only. Shah Abdullah Shutri established the Shatatri Silsila. Shah Abdul Shutari established the Shatari Silsila, and it had a great hold in UP and parts of Deccan. There were many other minor orders like Qalandas, Haridirs or Madaris. Naqshbandi Silsila. Naqshbandi order flourished during the Mughal period, especially propounded by Baqi Billah, etc. He was contemporary to, अब देख लेते हैं, ये लिख देती हूँ मैं, Naqshbandi Silsila. Naqshbandi order flourished during the Mughal period, especially propounded by Baqi Billah. He was a contemporary to Akbar period. One of the major proponents of this order was Sheikh Ahmad Sirhandi. He self-titled himself. इनके जो मेन प्रोपोनेंट्स है वो थे शेख अहमद सिरहंदी, जिन्होंने खुद को सेल्फ टाइटल किया था मुजेदीद अली साफ़ानी और द रिफॉर्मर ऑफ न्यू मिलेनियम. फाइन. अब इम्पोर्टेंस देख लेते हैं सूफीज़ की क्या है. ठीक है. मोस्ट ऑफ द सूफी सेंट्स वर गिवन लैंड ग्रांट्स और इनाम grant which they could pass to the descendants of the sheikh. These actions institutionalized the cult of the sheikh and gave an economic base to his descendants to move up to the social ladder. Fine. The literature of this time is full of instances of Sufi sheikh predicting the future kingship for a civilian, with the prediction actually serving as a veiled form of royal appointment. The Sufis extended their spiritual authority over the world and leased their political sovereignty to kings, charging them with the worldly business of administration, warfare, taxation, so far. The fact that some Sufis wrote in vernacular languages to get their message across to a wider audience show their willingness to create a working relationship with the non-elite Hindu elements. Although the Sufi shrines had important economic, socio-political effects on the masses of villagers to the Sultan of the realm, yet its main reason was to be religious institution. next. Hence, we would like to conclude that they might not have the power of Sharia to back them up legally, but in the sphere of customs and masses, the Sufis won hearts and elegance more than the ulema or the priest would. They promoted religious brotherhood and equality amongst the masses. They also wrote in vernacular or local languages so that more and more people could hear or read their songs and messages. Fine. So Bhakti movement will start in next lecture.